Hello everyone! Welcome back to this new video. Today we are going to discuss some vocabulary that you probably do not know. So I want to title this video, What About You Don't Know These Words in Italian, and how to expand your vocabulary in a few minutes. So let's start with word number one. The first one is a verb. The verb is brandire. Brandire is to brandish a weapon, okay? Brandire un'arma, to pull it out, to show it off, as a form of even threat, I would say, okay? So brandire un'arma. I don't think you will ever use this word, but the word is brandire. The verb is an isk verb, brandire un'arma. Lui brandì la sua arma e fu pronto a difendere la damigella. Okay? La damigella, which is a very old word for a woman, but nowadays that word is used to indicate a bridesmaid. Okay? So la damigella. Brandire. Io brandisco un'arma. Number two, way more common. Isolare, to isolate. I also found a synonym for this, which is fossare, like a fossil, like a dig, which apparently means to isolate. Never encountered in my life before, but anyway. Isolare, that's what we would say, okay? Isolare. You could also say it metaphorically. I feel isolated, okay? Io mi sento isolata. Isolare. Isolare, not to be confused with insulare. Insulare has to do with an island, una isola, okay? So insulare, island, isolare, verb, to isolate. Now, let's go to three words. They're pretty much on the same plane because they're kind of synonyms, okay? Smorzare, attenuare, and mitigare. You could see mitigare is to mitigate, okay? Mitigare la situazione, okay? I also know that in English you would say like mitigating factors. We call this in Italian, we call them attenuanti, okay? And you could have attenuanti generiche and attenuanti specifiche. However, I'm not gonna get into that. That's too technical in terms of vocab. So if you want to know more, please let me know. But in general, you would just need to say attenuanti. So attenuare, mitigare, same thing. Smorzare. Smorzare is probably slightly more colloquial, not that much. When I say colloquial, I mean point number one, more used. Point number two, not necessarily that low in terms of the registry of the language, okay? So smorzare. Smorzare is especially used for conversations, okay? So we say smorzare I toni, okay? So if you see that somebody is getting super upset, raising their voice and whatnot, you say è importante smorzare I toni, right? Not to make a big fuss out of something that is pretty straightforward or simple, okay? Smorzare I toni. On the same line of reasoning, we can have sdrammatizzare. Now, sdrammatizzare is pretty much the opposite of drammatizzare. We never say drammatizzare, but we are kind of dramatic people, okay? We're very passionate people who would take stuff, things, events at their heart, you know? Like, you know, we would get sort of upset and think and act based on principle, right? And so because of that, and not everybody of course does that in our culture, likewise in many other cultures people may do that, may not do that, okay? But we are kind of dramatic or perceived as such, less cult people than other possibly population. Of course this is a stereotype, but point being is it is also that is a cultural factor, okay? So we are perceived to be a little dramatic, and so we have a word not to say dramatic or more dramatic, you know, to dramatize, but we have a word to say the opposite. When you want to like lower the temperature. And in that case, you would use sdrammatizzare. Okay? Now, sdrammatizzare is like when somebody's making a joke, you know, to kind of disrupt the negativity in the air. And you would say, okay, well, I was just trying to lower down the tone, the temperature, and whatnot. And you would say, stavo cercando di, okay, because usually those are failed attempts. Stavo cercando di sdrammatizzare. Sto sdrammatizzando la situazione. Okay, making a joke out of something that is more serious or perceived by the people involved as more serious. I think I'm gonna stop there, and so I'm gonna go for a recap. We have a lot of words around the same realm here, but a couple that have nothing to do with this. So we have brandire, to brandish a weapon, isolare, to isolate, smorzare, attenuare, mitigare, on the same line, and then kind of in the same realm, sdrammatizzare, okay, sdrammatizzare. Okay, so now go ahead, use this verbs, I should say, in your sentences, okay, so that you can use it and overuse it. And the number one rule when you learn something is to overuse it. So then later on you can kind of restrict the application of that word in proper contexts. If you have doubts, don't forget to comment below, let us know, and we'll catch up next time in a new video. In the meantime, if you have enjoyed this one, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll talk soon. Ciao!